If science is limited to naturalism, what possible alternatives could exist to evolutionism?
Well, certainly. One of the alternatives is that the full truth about origins is simply not accessible to the kind of science that we do today. Now, to suggest that, of course, enrages a certain kind of scientist, although actually the majority of scientists aren't bothered by the idea at all. But the ideologues who promote things like Darwinism or theories of everything are enraged by that. But it's very much like the experience with science in the Middle Ages. You know, the alchemists thought that they could make lead into gold, and it was beyond the purview of their science. Well, the same thing is that our alchemists of today think that you can take non-living chemicals and leave them alone, just stir them up in a broth, and life emerges, and then you wait long enough, you get human beings. I think it's the alchemy of today. So one thing we really ought to consider is that at least the kind of science that we do today can't tell the full truth about origins. And what our science ought to be doing is learning more about how the life forms actually work, what they are, freeing themselves of the blinkers of Darwinian prejudice so that they can understand more about what they are. Just like the alchemists needed to learn more about chemistry. They needed to learn about the difference between elements and compounds and so on before they could understand why they couldn't turn lead into gold. I think the same thing would happen if our scientists started to study the life forms without this materialist set of blinders on, and they'd discover that it was something that required the input of intelligence into the system to be viable.